Got still 13 Milan Kilshaw, travelled to Oxford on Sunday, still top of the league after York and Doncaster dropped points last week. What's your assessment of the season so far?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of positives. I think there's a good vibe around the club. I think the changes we've implemented since November are starting to take shape now, and we're getting a decent level of consistency in our training and our playing. We're a long way to go yet, mate. You know, we're not falling in love with ourselves. We've got a long way to go in terms of our performance individually and as a collective. But you know, we've started the season well, and you can't ask for more than that. We've just, you know, a couple of blips in the performances against Widnes and York, but other than that, we've got the points on the board, and we're just taking it week by week. We've got a couple of games now. We do have a break, and it'll allow us to freshen up and you know, assess where we're at and set some more goals leading into the back end of this first part of the season, if you like, before the Super 8s. We just got to, you know, keep getting those points on the board, and like you say, there's a couple of teams in and around us dropped points last weekend, and hopefully we can take points off those teams when we play against them.
And John Cookson left the club last week. That leaves you without another prop forward. A bit light in the forwards now. How are you going to handle that?
Yeah, you know, with Joe being suspended as well, I think that's what you're getting at, and with John leaving, we are a little bit light in that front row area. You know, Alex Trumper's covered there, you know, as a middle in the last few weeks, more so as a loose forward. Ben Moores can also, you know, sit back and play a loose forward, but there's potential there for a couple of dual registration players in that position, you know, in the next few weeks. Possibly next week against South Wales, depending on how we pull up this weekend. You know, the players we've got in those positions are very good, but you know, if we do get another injury or suspension in there, then we will be light. So you know, John goes with our best wishes, and he was off, you know, a little bit and getting in the side, and you know, playing a little bit in the reserves at Warrington, and that's why he's come to that decision, and he's been a good servant for the club, and that's why we have wished him well for the future. But like we say, it does leave us a little bit light in the short term until we get Joe back. But we've got the players, as I said, to cover that, and potential players coming from Warrington Wolves as well, so we'll manage it, and if we do need to look outside that group, then we'll have those conversations with this coaching staff and the board.
And it's Oxford on Sunday, as I mentioned, the bottom of the league going into the game. How are you going to approach it?
Yeah, we'll approach it like we do every week. I've had a look at them like we do, you know, every week at the teams, and you know, all coaches do that, and that's nothing different. But they played some really good stuff against Crusaders. You know, the Crusaders started well, and you know, I think Oxford were probably still on the bus a little bit, and I think they might have been 18-0 down, but they came back and scored 18 points themselves and answered points themselves, and they can play some good stuff. And we go there. It's a tight pitch. It's a 4G pitch, so it's something different, and you've also got the journey to contend with. So, you know, there's plenty of challenges, you know, that this weekend's game's gonna throw at us, including, you know, the Oxford team. And when you are unbeaten and you are top of the table, there's no easy games, because everyone wants to knock you off and everybody raises the game against you. So we've got to have that mindset. If we do want to be the best team in the competition, we have to perform week in, week out, and we'll be taking, you know, we won't be taking them lightly, and we'll be preparing for this as we would prepare for any other side in the competition. We need to make sure our performance is right up there this week, and we've trained well this week. We've had, you know, a bit of extra help on our attack from Kurt Gidley as well, which has, you know, give the lads a lift and a different voice at, you know, at training, and giving us a boost. So we'll come in again tomorrow, Saturday, and have a light run and a little bit of video, and then we'll turn up Sunday morning and turn up ready to play.
And you've got near enough a full squad now, which is first time we can say that this season. There's only Dave Cookson who remains out, and Joe still banned. It'll give you a few selection headaches in the next few weeks, but how are you going to handle them?
Yeah, James Dandy as well picked up a little bit of a knock playing for Warrington Reserves, so there's him, and obviously Dave Cookson returned to training last night. We're looking at the Newcastle game for him, so he's still a few weeks off, and I think Joe is available for the Hemel game, possibly the Newcastle game. I'm not sure which one comes first. Yeah, it's difficult. We've left players out, this year, and when we've had different players and full squads, and you can't always be, I'm not always going to be the most popular person, and the coaching staff aren't. We just got to be consistent. We've got a really good squad, and it shows every week when we're leaving quality players out. There's 3 lads that will play for Warrington Reserves on Saturday. Corey Lee, Jack Francis and Kane Ditchfield, who hasn't featured for us yet, and they've just got to be patient and perform well and keep doing the right things in training. And sometimes we'll pick a certain team, because of the opposition we're playing and the positions, or you might go with an extra forward on the bench, or an extra back, or whatever it may be. So each week there's different elements of the selection decision that we make. We've been pretty consistent over the last 2 weeks, and we've not really changed the starting 13, and I think that's probably the first time we've done that this year, and that's enabled us to get that consistency on the field. So yeah, mate, it's a good thing that we've got difficult decisions, because when we played York in the iPro, we were looking and relying on, we had 4 players for dual registration, which isn't ideal. So we're in a good position at the minute. The conditioning staff and the physio Brian have been working overtime, and we're healthy. Like I say, there's only probably 1 injury now with James Dandy, and then with Dave Cookson coming back. It gives us selection headaches, but it's a healthy position to be in.
And you spoke about keeping a consistent side over the last couple of weeks. Will there be any changes this week?
Yeah, a couple. We will rotate. We won't be taking them lightly at all, as I mentioned. We'll probably Wayne will probably start on the bench, just give him half a game, just a couple of knocks there, just looking after him, and we will leave Alex McClurg out and James Tilly out the squad. James has got a couple of bumps and bruises just to get over. He does a lot of work, 30 plus tackles a game, and he does a lot of carries, so obviously that's going to catch up with him now and again, so we're just freshening him up. And Clergy's got just a sternum injury, so there's no point in risking him when we've got Harry Files, who's a great replacement, and he's been waiting in the wings, and obviously he'll be getting a little, he would have been a bit frustrated of that, so it's a good opportunity for Harry to play this weekend. Other than that, we'll be going, we are going with a strong squad, but there'll be no other changes in the team this weekend.
And just on a final note, in the members meeting the other night, you said about how important the support had been, especially in the Toulouse and the Barrow games, heading into the few games away. How important is it for the supporters and the members to really get behind the club and help us cement our place at the top of the table? Yeah,
I mean, the atmosphere, I think, around the place, like we say, is buzzing at the minute, and it was great to see so many people on Wednesday night, I think it was, for the members meeting, and like we say, it's positive, and just getting behind the lads, it means a lot, and the lads have a responsibility to perform, and there's people who especially in this current climate, of spending money to watch them play and travelling away, and the lads really appreciate that support. It might be different than going out with the friends or going to the cinema. That's the reality of the climate we're in. So the lads have that responsibility to train well, and it's also, I think, an honour that people come and want to pay and to watch you play, and it's really good that people are getting behind us. It'd be good to see a few there at Oxford on the weekend. And a real good crowd for the South Wales game before we pick the pitch up and go on the road and get as many people at the York game and the Newcastle game and the Hemel game. It'll give the lads a massive boost. Just I thought the crowd at Barrow in the conditions were really loud, and they really got behind the lads, and it makes a big difference. It really does.
Cheers, Alan.